Good morning. Today we're taking a look at the XRP, some market cap XRP, and the Sigma coin. So invalidation occurred. So we had our ABC correction down with the potential flat structure for this wave 1 set up here. Then we had our 5-wave impulse off the lows, but then this ended up being a larger ABC down, ABC up with a shorter C leg. And now we're actually completing and starting over this flat that we've been monitoring is starting to come into play. So the count, though, looks pretty much more aggressive than what I had kind of shown here for this price action. And we're actually seeing a probable likelihood that's going to follow up with what we had originally planned, which was a re-sweep back down into this 285 region. And there's even actually potentially more, as we know that we have this liquidity gap down here and this one down here to the 886. So the anticipation now is that we might even be seeing something a little bit more different, that maybe if we zoom out on our overall range and we start looking at what we're playing here, we know that there's a ton of supply down here, right? So we see all of this supply here. We see this supply here. So these are potential stopping points, and we were anticipating this ABC to sweep back down to the lows here. Well, looking at how aggressive this move down is, I'm seeing this as a wave 1, wave 2, and this would be the beginning of our wave 3, 4, and 5. And this may, in fact, end up giving us a much lower entry down here in the 275 region, which is what we had originally planned. So from there, we look at this, and there's a lot of trop, a lot of crossover, a lot of everything else. And so we can turn to the market cap chart to give us an idea of what we're actually looking at here. So here was our 5-wave move off the lows, and then zoomed in super close here, we have our ABC down, ABC up for the completion of the C leg to the higher degree. And then this was the tell also, which is we had a 5-wave move to the downside. And this is now being identified as a potential A, B, C move instead of our 5-wave impulse, even though it still looks very impulsive. And then now we got a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, and 5 to still come into play here. So this will take us back into the mid-range, but again, reminder that we have these gaps down here, so this may accelerate even further and ultimately give us a lot more chop on the way down to then sweep the overall range lows down here, giving us this larger wave 1, wave 2, and then we would have this wave 1, wave 2 of the lesser degree getting ready to move out of here. So where we stop, the plan of attack that we had was an expectation that we would come back down to the 285 region, which was our boxed out zone. We watch how price action plays, and then we have one more sweep lower to ultimately complete this corrective move out of here. Now, do note that with a high liquidity that's associated with USD pricing, we may sweep down below these levels. Whereas in Korea, when we look at how their price action is playing out right now, they have not even come close to the sweep that we saw on the USD price. So they have their ABC down, ABC up, 5-3-5 wave for the corrective structure. They've now done a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC. And then this is an ABC, so we'll see how this flat ultimately ends up playing for Korea as well, and whether or not they're going to start moving down into these lower regions here for the price action. So pretty aggressive sell-off so far. It looks like it's going to continue for a little bit, and we will continue to monitor. So, but yeah, let's see. I think that's pretty much oh, yes, and then we jump over to the Sigma coin. It's not immune from the price action that we've been seeing. So with Sigma, we've been watching it, trying to reclaim the wedge, and it looks like we had a rejection against the wedge here. Yes, so we got back to the wedge, working on a rejection, testing supply yet again, and then hopefully we can move out of here. Now, one interesting thing here beyond Sigma is if we bounce back over to XRP, we had a lot of confluences occur with our dominance. So we've been monitoring this area down here for a potential price action sweep to get us back down to close this gap for the overall dominance chart. So if we go to the 4-hour, we had a completion of a 5-wave move off the lows, a WXY wedge pattern, a 5-wave move up, and now we've actually gone and completed a WXYXZ correction, sweeping beyond the measured move of an equal ABC here and back down into the 786-702 region for XRP's dominance. And then in addition to that, we had a ton of alerts go off all through this region on both the daily and 12-hour, stating that this was overdone to the downside and that it's likely for a reversal. So this leads me to think that the 285 price target region for longing is probably what we're in store for. And just like before, where we had this 285 region be swept, we would hold here and then work our way out, is what my anticipation is, obviously with invalidation if we start closing into lower lows. So that's basically what we're checking with ultimately at the end, and we will just continue to monitor price action. But it looks like this ABC count is in fact playing it, even though it's doing it in a very choppy kind of way, and it may just be ultimately this flat, which is great because then we don't have to come back in to these regions and do this again at a later point. So just complete the flat, which XRP likes, end up dropping it down, just kind of like basically a retest of this, and then we just send out of here an equal kind of view. So all right, thanks so much for watching, and we'll check in tomorrow.